So I'm making this video to tell like my side of the story of what happened when the reason why the cops got involved and I started recording when I went to Buffalo Wild Wings. I showed up there for a UFC event. Which UFC? It was John Jones versus Dominic Reyes. UFC 2, I don't know, whatever. I don't know. Who cares? But I got there, I think it was 7 o'clock. And it was a big fight card. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, I gotta get there and then hopefully I could find a seat. Hopefully I could find a place to sit. So I got there and the bar was full. The bar was full, like where I normally sit. And I went there for three UFCs before going to that one. And where I normally sit, it was full already. So I walked around the other side and just way at the end of the bar, there was a seat there, but it was at the end of the bar. But I didn't care. I was like, man, that's a seat. At least there's a seat. I mean, if I'm sitting at the bar, who cares? At least I could still watch. So I ended up taking a seat at the bar. Then the normal bartender, like I'm always sitting on the other side, so he's always serving on the other side. And on the other side, on the side that I was sitting on, it's she came up, asked me if I wanted a drink. I got my normal order, and I started watching the fights. And I was at the end of the bar, so I had to turn my head just a little bit so I could so I could see the screen. And it kind of bugged me. I mean, I'm sitting here, but I got to turn this way just to watch the screen and watch the fights. And maybe, I don't know if it was the main card I think like after the first fight of the main card, the guy sitting next to me, he left. He left and he wasn't coming back. He was leaving. I was like, hey, you leaving? He's like, yeah, I'm out of here, man. I was like, all right. So all of my stuff I had there, I moved over. I was like, man, because the seat he was sitting in just lined straight up with the TV. So like he was leaving, I moved my stuff, I sat in the chair, I sat in the stool, and then the fight was on. I mean, I didn't have to turn my head, which was annoying, and it was just right in front of me, and there was 3 screens, so I'm like, man, it's perfect. And there was like I don't know, the first fight. I don't know how many more fights. I don't remember the fight card. It was 4 months ago. It was kind of sketch because that was when I think it was North Korea. I mean, China was reporting all their coronavirus cases, and it was all that was starting to happen. And I sat there, and there was a girl who sat next to me, and next to her, I don't know if it was her boyfriend. I don't know if she was married. I don't know if it was her husband. I don't know. But he sat there, and then on the other side, there was 3 of them all together. 2 girls and the 1 guy, and he was sitting in the middle. And like they were throwing back drinks too. And then the 2 girls, they kept getting up. I mean, I don't know. They kept going to the bathroom. I don't know, but they kept going to the bathroom. And I kind of think they were doing a couple lines back there. That was my guess. Because she was acting a little funky. And like the place is loud. It's loud. You can't, the commentary is blasting. People are talking. People are cheering. It's loud. You have to speak. You have to yell just in order to hear someone. Like if you need another drink, whatever, you gotta yell. You gotta yell that shit out because it's loud. So, and I kept ordering drinks. I'm like, and I think that night they were having specials, whatever. And then I was like, I'll take that one. I'll get that one. Whatever. I'll mix it up. And every drink I kept getting, the girl sitting next to me would look at the drink I was getting. They would mix it up right there in front of me and then pour it up. And she was always looking. Like I could see her from the corner of my eye. She was always looking at my drinks. And then I don't know what she was sipping on. I don't know what it was. But she had a straw. She kept fucking, even when the ice was low, she was, she kept fidgeting with the ice, with her straw. And then, the fights were going on, and it was just people cheering, and like, everything was going good. Everything was going great. And then I ordered food. And then the guy, he sneezed. And he sneezed, and I was like, man, he sneezed. I don't know. And I heard him sneeze, but I was like, man, I'm not the bless you kind of dude. I was like, yeah, whatever. He's sitting way the fuck over there. He's sitting 2 chairs down. I don't need to say shit. And then he sneezed, like later on, he sneezed again. And then I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Because, this is the whole coronavirus shit was going down. That was all you were hearing about on the news. And he sneezed again, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? Is this guy sick or what's going on? And then, like, that was when I was eating my food. He sneezed, and I'm like, man, I don't know if he's covering his sneezes or what, but every time when people sneeze, that shit's shooting out. And I'm conscious about that shit. It's like if I have food and if my drink is there and someone's sitting there and they're sneezing, I'm like, man, he better be, covering his sneezes. And so the second time I was like, man, this dude, man, what the fuck? At least go to the bathroom and sneeze or something. Cover your sneeze. I didn't see him do this. I didn't. And then I finished my food, and then I got another drink, and then the third time he sneezed, and I felt it that time. I think I had my hands like out on the bar right there, and there was like I was doing this. I was on the bar, and I was watching the fights, and I felt it on my hand or my arm. I was like, "Fuck, man." So then I knew, I was like, this dude ain't covering shit. And he was drunk. He was fucked up. Because he was like bobbing. He was moving back. Like, he was having trouble. Like, even like hearing him talk, like he was mumbling. Like he was like stammering. Like he was mumbling. And you could tell. And then like he had his cap on back. He was like a bodybuilder type dude. Like you could tell this guy was taking supplements. You could tell. You don't get that big without supplements. And the fight was going on again. And the third time, like I felt it, I was like, fuck, man. So I let it go, and I was like, fucking A. All right. And then the girl, like she put that straw down right next to me. Like she's sitting right here, she put it right next to me. And then the whole time she kept hitting me with her fucking knee. And she had this, like, she was digging through her purse. Like she would go like this, like spread her fucking legs apart, and she would hit my leg and then start digging into her purse. And then like there was a hook or something. She was charging her phone, and there was a hook on there, so she would keep her purse down. She was always digging through her purse. And like I said, they kept going to the bathroom. So I'm thinking they're about there fucking shooting along. They've got some powder of some sort. And because you kept going to the bathroom. You kept sliding out, and every time she would slide out, she kept hitting my leg. Oh, I'm sorry. Like I could faintly hear a little sorry because it was so damn loud in there. And then I ordered another drink, and then she was saying something about the straw. Like the straw was still sitting there. And I'm watching the fucking fights, and she was saying something about licking the straw. Like I said, I couldn't hear what the fuck she was saying. So I don't care. Like I don't give a shit. I'm watching the fights. I'm fucking watching the fight. I don't give a shit. So, and then it turns. The main event comes on. And I'm like, by that time, I'm like, yeah, man, let's go, man. I want to see this fight. Let's go. Let's do it, man. And I was pumped. So I ordered another drink, and the guy sneezed again, and that's when I got pissed. I was like, man, who the fuck is this guy, man? Why don't you tell him? I said, why don't you tell him to cover his fucking sneezes? I was like, why the fuck are you sneezing? I said something like that, man. And then the girl, she got offended. I don't know if it was her husband, her boyfriend. I don't know what. But she got pissed off for me saying that. I'm like, what the fuck? Cover your fucking sneeze, man. What the fuck is this bullshit? How rude is that? You're sneezing. You're fucking sneezing on everybody. You're sneezing on people's drinks. You're sneezing on people's food. Fuck. And then that pissed me off. That fucking pissed me off. So I had to say something. And he was too drunk. He was too fucked up himself. He couldn't say anything to me. He didn't know what the fuck was going on. That's how fucking drunk he was. And the girl, she got offended. And she started saying, I don't know what the fuck she was starting. She like I said, she was acting funny herself. And she was drinking herself. And then the other girl that was there, they were all three of them were wasted. And then like we started getting, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, and I was pissed at that point. And then so it turns out the manager in the video, I mean, you can tell he's a young dude. He's probably like late 20s. He's the manager for whatever fucking reason. They knew the manager. In the video with the cops, he was saying that the guy's a regular, that fucking meathead stupid fuck. You could hear it in the video that, oh, he's a regular. So for me complaining about him sneezing and her getting offended by it, and then, you know, just, I don't know, I mean, whatever fucking trip that she wanted to have, whatever she was on, all that shit combined, like she felt the need to defend whoever the fuck that guy was. I mean, he couldn't defend himself. I mean, I could just walked up and fucking pushed him, and he would have fell right off the damn stool. So the manager got involved, and she says to him, I don't know what she says to him. Like, I'm sitting there, I'm watching the fight, man. It's the main event. And then the manager comes to me, and he's like, hey, man, I'm going to have to ask you to go across to the other side, the bar, sit on the other side. I was like, there's no seats over there. He's like, no, there's a seat there. I'll have him, whatever. I was like, what for what? He's like, hey, you're going to have to sit on the other side. I'm like, what, for what? And then she's just looking at me, giving me this look. I'm like, and then the fucking dude, you could tell the dude was fucked up, straight up. And I was like, you know what, so what? All right, fuck it. All right, let me go sit on the other side. And I just fucking went across sat on the other side. I'm watching the fight. So like, I'm interested in the fight. I don't care about all this fucking bullshit that's going on. I'm watching the fight. And I go across to the bar. I sit on the other side of the bar, and I'm watching the fight. And then I just sit next to this dude, and he's like, what's going on over there? I guess he saw what was going on, like, on the other side. I was like, yeah, man. I told him everything. Like, I don't know what the fuck that bitch is doing. The guy's fucking sneezing. And then he starts laughing. He's like, yeah, we got this whole coronavirus shit. I'm like, exactly, dude. Exactly. And then he was like, man, that's bullshit. And they made you sit. I was like, dude, I don't give a fuck, man. The fight's on. And then we started, I think by this time it was like the second or third round. I don't remember. And then at that time, like, the normal bartender because I'm sitting on the side now where I normally sit. And the normal bartender, he's like, everything all right? Everything cool? I'm like, yeah, man. I told him what was going on. He's like, yeah. He's like, man, they're fucked up. I was like, dude, you even know they're fucked up. He's like, yeah. But he's like, yeah, it's all good, man. And then I was like, hook me up with another drink. And he's like, all right. So then he comes back, and then he's like, hey, man. He's like, I can't serve you anymore. The manager said I can't serve you anymore. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I told him, I was like, I'm cool with it. Like, I didn't say shit to him. I didn't say, I'm just like, why, what the fuck? Why do I gotta go on the other side of the bar? That was the only thing I said. And I was like, all right, man, I'll just go, man. You're fucking this all up for me. I'm trying to watch the fight. So I go to the other side, and now you're not gonna fucking serve me? And then he was like, yeah, I don't want to lose my job. And he's a cool dude. Like I said, I've been there before, and he's always hooked me up every time. And he was like, yeah, I don't want to lose my job. And I was like, man, this is fucking bullshit. And then even the guy sitting next to me, he's like, what the fuck? He's like, what? You came across, you're good. He's like, how come they're cutting you off? I was like, yeah, man. And he's like, don't worry, man, I'll get you a beer. Don't worry, I'll get you one. I was like, cool. And then they find out the manager, like, I guess this whole time he's watching from somewhere. But like, as soon as I get the beer, he's like, no, you can't do it. And then the other guy was like, yeah, no. He's like, well, no, I didn't grab it yet because he set it down, and then I was getting ready to do it, and then I was like, hold up, let me just talk to him. I was like, let me talk to the manager, and then I was like, let me talk, and I didn't know where the fuck he was at, but he must have been watching the whole time. And then he was like, yeah, I'll let him know you want to talk to him. The bartender said that, and I was like, all right. So I sat there, and then all of a sudden, just fucking 2 or 3 seconds later, boom, he pops out of nowhere. He's like, oh, you want to talk to me? I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah. I was like, well, hold up, man. The fight's on. I'll talk to you after the fight. I was like, the whole reason you can't serve, what's up with, you can't serve me? And he's like, yeah, I can't serve you anymore. And I couldn't hear him. Man. He started like fucking cowering a little bit. And I'm like, man, what the fuck? So I was just like, dude, what the fuck is the deal, dude? What the fuck is, I didn't get it. And then I was like, all right, man, just let me watch the fight. Let me watch the fight, man. Just get out of here. And then he was like, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. I was like, you want me to fuck? And then the guy sitting next door was like, what the fuck? And he even looked at him. And then he that's when he pointed out. He's like, oh, I know you're reaching for that drink. I was like, man, what are you watching me for? What the fuck you think I'm stirring up all this shit? And from there, he was like, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. I'm like, dude, I'm watching the fights, man. And then he's like, well, I'm gonna call the cops. I sat there, I said, call the fucking cops, man. I don't care. Call the fucking cops. And then shit. He was saying like during that time, I was like, yeah, you even told me to come across, and I don't know what she said to him. But he mentioned something about a straw, like licking a straw or something. And I was like, what the fuck? I said, yeah, she put her straw down, like, I'm sitting here, like, this is like my spot here. She put her fucking straw right there, and I'm just like, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I'm watching the fights. I mean, the TVs are up here. I don't give a fuck about all this. And he said something about a straw, or she said something, I did something with, I don't know what the fuck it was. And I said, yeah, go ahead and call the cops. And I sat there, and I thought he was bluffing, man. I thought he was fucking bluffing. And then out of nowhere, fucking 2 cops come into the bar. And then I'm watching the fights, man. I'm watching it. And then I just get this tap on my shoulder. And then everybody's looking at me like, and 2 cops are behind me. And then the cop was like, can we step outside? I was like, yeah, I'll be out there as soon as the fight's over. And he was like, no, you gotta step aside right now. I said, dude, I'm watching the fights. What the fuck did I do? He's like, let's talk outside. And then the whole time the manager was that fucking stupid ass little fucking fuckhead. What is it? I think his name was Zach. I think that's what his name was. But man, who gives a fuck? And then I was like, man, this is some bullshit. And I that's when I started making sense. I'm like, this is some fucking bullshit, man. And I started flipping out, and I was like, man, fuck this. And I got up, and then I walked out with some fucking cops, and everybody's fucking looking. I'm like, what the fuck, man? God. Act like you've seen fucking police before. And the whole time, people were probably like, what the fuck did this guy do? He didn't do anything. I didn't do shit at all. So yeah, and then I started recording then, and then, it's kind of funny in the video. I mean, this small little fucking cop, both of them were tiny, and they were freezing. They were freezing their asses off out there. They're fucking over there and I'm like, dude, I got a jacket. You want my jacket? And